sure it's working, and then we're gonna get started cooking in the kitchen. Okay, so, hi, I'm Maddie. I'm the Blue Cross Wellness Coordinator. And so we're gonna make a roasted veggie salad. And really, don't need to put too much thought into it. It's very simple, but it will be fun. And I know that when I like to cook, so if you are cooking with me, that's wonderful. If you're not, you're just watching. When I'm in the kitchen, I like to listen to music. Just for today, I kind of turned it off. It just kind of gets me in the groove of things. But today, we are going to make a roasted veggie salad. So I kind of already got the oven started just so it's preheated for you. And I kind of pre-cut some stuff. But usually my cutting, I don't try to get it perfect. I just kind of dice it up. Don't really care about the size of it too much. And I try not to overthink it. So just for time's sake, I cut some of the stuff up. So what we have today, we are going to add peppers. So it's a lot of veggies that we're just going to throw on this sheet pan. I put parchment paper on there. You warm up the oven to 450. So you'll need peppers for today, broccoli or cauliflower, whatever type of, I guess, cruciferous vegetable that you would like. Brussels sprouts. I have purple potatoes, but you can use regular potatoes too. You could use sweet potato. You could use, if you don't do well with carbs or you're trying to watch everything, you can always use something else, another type of vegetable to put in there. And then also I have my balsamic vinegar, which you could also use lemon instead if you're not a balsamic vinegar person. And I have my olive oil, and then I also have fresh garlic, minced garlic. And so what I have, you can always use powdered, you can always use just seasoning instead of fresh. And I have some salt, some garlic salt. So what I did is I diced up peppers. So you can use green, yellow, orange, any colors that you want. And I'm just going to place them on the pan. So you can see I really didn't care about size because I'm just going to throw them in the oven. And that's usually what I do. I just throw things together and I kind of play around with it. So same thing with the broccoli. If you want to cut it up so you want smaller pieces, definitely do so. So you can cut it up like so. So I might just cut some of the bigger pieces up, but usually I'll just kind of throw it in there. It just depends on how big of pieces you want. You can break them apart if you're don't like the stems. You can always take those off. And we always save the extras for our chickens because they love the scraps, and it's something for them. Everything's organic that we buy, and just because we can, and everything we grow is organic, and our chickens are too. So they're free range, organic, and it's kind of like I'm always joking that I'm like a mother hen to watch what they eat because we're eating their eggs. So I'm just gonna throw the rest in there. This piece is a little big. And you can get pre-cut, you can get uncut, and so if you were to I just usually chop it up. You can even put chunks of this for time's sake. If you ever like, oh, I don't want to chop all these peppers or this broccoli, put it into the food processor blender and then just pulse it and it will chop it up, and then you'll just pour it on the pan. So that kind of saves you some time if you have that option. So that's how pretty it is, all those colors. I put these bowls out because, since we're doing a cooking show, I might as well go all out. But usually I just throw it in the pan. But try to channel my inner Food Network or any other cooking show that you might watch. So I have purple potatoes, just what we had on hand. And so I'm just you can throw them in there whole if you want, but I'm just gonna cut them into fours and throw them on there. So it'll just kind of look like so, nothing really fancy. And they add a nice little color to the pan. There's so many options of different vegetables you can pick. There's really no limitation. Usually this is what we do for a lot of dinners, is just like a ton of roasted vegetables. we love parsnips. It's one of our favorite vegetables to cook with. And so you'll usually see like parsnips on here too as well, or cabbage or Brussels sprouts is another good one too. And please, if you're watching, to receive credit for the Strive for 5 program through Living Well, comment below any thoughts, anything that you would like to share, and we will give you credit for attending, and then that will be a point towards your 5 for earning your PTO. So, I'm just going to cut it up. One more. Now you guys, sometimes it's like, oh, okay, cutting. But, like I said, you could put it in the blender in the first time to save time. So, the next part is kind of just adding the seasoning and oil on top. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to drizzle the oil. Really, there is no pattern because I'm going to end up tossing it. So, there really, you don't have to think too much. If you don't like a ton of garlic, or you are afraid of being at work and having garlic breath, then feel free to not add the garlic, or minimize the amount of garlic. So I just like to have it for the flavor, and I'm a huge garlic person. And then I'm going to add my onion, and well, it's onion powder mixed with salt. I just did it in a jar. You can use real onions too, so put those on there, and that will add some flavor as well. And so the recipe, I'll post up with it, but a lot of this stuff I just guess. And so for the vegetables, it was 2 peppers, about a head of broccoli, and I did about, just depending on how much starch you want to add, I did about probably 8 purple potatoes. And then it's about a teaspoon of salt, give or take if you want to add more afterwards, but the balsamic vinegar or lemon juice will really bring out flavor. And then about some oil is just kind of drizzling on top. There really is no measurement, just drizzle it over the top, enough to give each of the vegetables a little bit of oil consistency to it. So I'm going to toss it. I'm going to mix it all together, toss it, get the oil mixed in, all the seasoning. I love this fun color. It makes me feel happy. My body's kind of getting excited to eat it. Love it. Okay, so this is all good to go. I'm going to wipe my hands off just a little bit. Wipe them off. Usually I'll go to the sink and wipe them off, but just for time's sake, I'm going to wipe them with a paper towel. And then I'm going to put this in. The balsamic vinegar will come on afterwards. So this was pretty simple. You'll cook it for 20 minutes at 450. And usually I just test the potatoes because they'll probably be the one that takes a little longer. Test the potatoes. Are they fork tender? If they are, you can either do 2 steps. Pull it out and then drizzle the balsamic vinegar and then toss it in your bowl and your salad's ready to go. Or you can cook it for additional 10 minutes with after you drizzle the balsamic vinegar on there and put it in for additional 10 minutes. It'll kind of absorb some of the flavor a little better, but it's just depending on how much time and how much effort you want to put into it. So I'm going to put this in the oven, 450, and I actually had another one I already put in there. Done, because I mean, what cooking show doesn't already have one done, basically? So this one looks a little different. I used our like gold potatoes that we had, and then I cooked with mostly yellow pepper, and then I still have my broccoli in there. The broccoli, I like it given a little crisp. It always adds a little flavor. So I did this ahead of time, and then I put the balsamic vinegar 10 minutes in before we started shooting. So now it's kind of like, you'll notice it's a little caramelized, a little crispy from that balsamic vinegar cooking in there. Before, when I took it out, it wasn't as crispy, so it's just based on your palate. So then, if you use lemon juice, it'd be the same thing. So cut the lemon in half. You can either use this little nifty thing that will catch the seeds and just squeeze it over the top, like so. Or you can use this little juicer thing So you would put the lemon on it, you crank it to get the juice, and then drizzle the juice over the top. So that is very simple, very quick, and usually I batch cook this, so I'll make a couple like I'm doing right now, and then I'll have it either for dinner and I'll have it for leftovers the next day, or you'll have it for breakfast. There's no limitations on breakfast. I feel like we kind of get in the rut of like we have to eat breakfast food, but really you can eat dinner for breakfast or lunch for breakfast or vice versa. You can mix it up, each of the different meals. So then I just take it for serving purposes. I'll just grab it off of this. It's not going to be hot with all the parchment paper. I'll fold it kind of like so. It's not going to be perfect. I'm going to not use this glove. Oops, drop a few, and then dump it in the bowl. Couple stragglers. And there you have your roasted veggie salad. You can put it over lettuce, you can leave it like so, or you can even, if you do well with dairy or do well with any like goat cheeses, you can sprinkle a little feta or a little crumble over the top and then toss it, and that will be a good salad. And this is something easy to make for yourself or to take for an event. So recipe, kind of, I'll show you. It just looks like this, all the ingredients, you can see. And really don't think about it too much. You cannot mess up roasting vegetables and how much you add. I mean, unless you are trying to cook with, and this would be more baking, and you use cumin instead of cinnamon. So it's only really how you can really mess it up too much. So take your time, have fun with it. Hope you enjoyed this video. Reminder, please comment below in the comment section if you are watching this live or if you go back and watch it, because we will give you credit for it and give you credit for participating. We really appreciate your feedback, and I hope that you guys enjoy this recipe and you have a good rest of your day. And also tomorrow we're doing another live cooking session at 12 o'clock. It will be a sheet pan recipe, so something that you can just kind of similar throw in, but we'll add some protein to it as well, and some different vegetables, and it'll be a different type of recipe, so you can kind of get your juices flowing on what different types of roasted vegetables you can make in the oven. So, and all these vegetables you can mix and match, so have fun with it, and have a good rest of your day. Thank you.